Hey there, history buffs and lawbreakers. Law-abiding citizens. Welcome back to the channel. Did you know that at one point in history you could be fined for wearing purple or even punished for having ice cream on a Sunday? These are not just bizarre stories, they were actual laws. Let's dive into the top 5 most absurd laws that humanity has ever enacted across the world. Our first stop takes us to 16th century England under the reign of the glorious, the iconic Queen Elizabeth I. Now, imagine being a fashion-forward individual in Elizabethan England, rocking the latest trends and boldest colours. You strut down the street feeling like $1,000,000 and bam, you're thrown in the Tower of London. Your crime? Wearing purple. Yep, you heard that right. Under Queen Elizabeth I, a law was put in place that made it illegal for anyone, except for royalty of course, to wear the colour purple. This law, known as a sumptuary law, wasn't just about fashion policing though, it was all about maintaining that very clear social hierarchy. Purple dye, you see, was crazy expensive back then, like more expensive than gold. So naturally it became a symbol of wealth, power and royalty. By reserving this luxurious colour for the elite, the law ensured that everyone knew their place in society. Can you imagine the uproar if this law was still around today? No more Purple Rain concerts for us. From England we travel to ancient China, where one of the most ambitious construction projects in human history was underway, the Great Wall of China. This colossal wall, stretching thousands of miles, was built to keep out invaders and protect the Chinese Empire. But the construction of the wall came at a dark and disturbing cost. Historical records suggest that during the construction of the Great Wall, a chilling practice was enforced, burying people alive within the wall's foundation. The belief was that these human sacrifices would appease the gods and strengthen the wall, making it impenetrable to enemies. It's a horrifying thought, and while some modern historians debate the extent of this practice, there's evidence suggesting it wasn't just a myth. Imagine the fear of the workers, knowing that their lives could be sacrificed to ensure the wall's stability. It's a stark reminder of the human cost, often hidden behind grand monuments. Chapter 3 now, let's hop over to the United States, the land of the free, home of the brave, and apparently the enemy of delicious frozen treats, on Sundays, that is. Back in the late 19th century, a wave of blue laws swept across several states in the US aimed at enforcing strict moral codes, particularly when it came to observing the Sabbath. And you know what was considered a sinful indulgence on the Lord's Day? Ice cream. Yes, folks, you heard that right. These laws essentially made it illegal to sell or consume ice cream on Sundays. The reasoning? Well, some argued that ice cream parlors were too frivolous for the Sabbath, while others claimed that the sweet treat distracted people from religious observance. But as they say, necessity is the mother of invention, and this time it was the mother of the ice cream sundae. To circumvent the ban, creative ice cream vendors started serving ice cream with syrups, fruits and nuts, basically everything but the kitchen sink, and calling it a sundae. And thus a beloved dessert was born, all thanks to an absurd law. Chapter 4. Our next stop takes us to 16th century Mughal India, under the rule of Emperor Akbar. Now, Emperor Akbar was known for his progressive ideas and religious tolerance, but even he couldn't resist implementing a law that seems downright bizarre today. During his reign, a tax was levied on men who chose to grow beards. Yes, you heard that right. You wanted to sport some stylish facial hair? Be prepared to pay the price. The reasoning behind this beard tax is a bit murky. Some historians believe it was a way for Akbar to maintain order and distinguish between different social classes, as beards were often associated with certain religious groups or professions. Others speculate that it was simply a way to generate revenue for the empire, because who doesn't like a little extra cash flow, right? Whatever the reason, this beard tax definitely wouldn't fly in today's world, where beards are a celebrated fashion statement. Can you imagine the outrage if hipsters had to pay extra for their carefully groomed facial fuzz? Chapter 5. Our final destination on this journey through history's most absurd laws takes us to ancient Rome, where life was often brutal, and death was, well, something to be taken very, very seriously. The Romans were known for their elaborate funeral rites and their deep respect for the dead. So much so that they had a law that seems utterly unfathomable today. No laughing at funerals. I know, it sounds like the setup to a bad joke, but I assure you, this was serious business in ancient Rome. Breaking this rule was considered a grave insult to the deceased and could result in severe punishment. The reasoning behind this law was rooted in the belief that laughter, especially in the presence of death, was disrespectful and could even anger the gods. So, next time you're at a funeral, remember to keep it somber. Unless, of course, you're in ancient Rome, in which case feel free to let out a chuckle or two. Just kidding, don't do that. Outro. From purple prohibition to beard taxation, the annals of history are filled with laws that seem utterly absurd by today's standards. But as we chuckle at these bizarre regulations from the past, it's also a reminder of how far we've come as a society. History can be absurd, but it's also fascinating to see how far we've come. Which of these laws shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're ready for more mind-blowing stories from world history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. See you in the next video.